Today I am making a Tart Vanilla Frozen Yogurt. This is Sherry with Happy Gut for Life, and today I'm going to show you how I make Tart Vanilla Frozen Yogurt in the Ninja Creami. This is so easy to make, and it is only 3 ingredients. You just need some yogurt, some vanilla, and some honey. If you don't have a new Ninja Creami, that is totally fine. You could make this recipe in a regular ice cream maker. You may want to double it. Like I made 2 batches here. I just did them separately. But yeah, you can double it if you want a little more to fill up your machine. But it works totally well. You don't have to freeze it 24 hours in advance if that's what you do. So I love making all kinds of different flavors in my Ninja Creami, but I also love just this Tart Vanilla, because vanilla goes with everything. So you can top it with fruit, and you can use it as a side if you have a cake, or if you make a sauce. It just goes with everything. But for me, part of the reason I wanted to make this is that when I was little, there used to be this health food store near us that we would go to. My mom would buy me a Tart Vanilla Frozen Yogurt, but this was the days before frozen yogurt was a thing. There were no frozen yogurt shops. So this frozen yogurt was different than the kind that I would get later on when they had all the shops, when it was kind of a craze. This was, you could tell it was made with real yogurt. It actually tastes very much like what I'm about to show you. So what I have here is 1 cup of yogurt made with half and half. You don't have to use, different yogurts. I've made this plenty of times with just whole milk yogurt. But since I had the half and half, I wanted to use that too. So I'm going to use 1 cup of the half and half yogurt. And now I have added 1 cup of whole milk yogurt. If you've seen me use yogurt before, you'll notice that I whisk it when I'm going to use it in a recipe. This is true if you're going to be freezing it or if you're going to be heating it up. So whisking it helps preserve the composition of the yogurt. So if you freeze it or heat it without doing that, it separates. But whisking it prevents the separation, and that is definitely what we want. We do not want separated yogurt. If you've ever frozen yogurt without whisking it, you'll see that it kind of makes 2 layers in the freezer. That is the same if you cook it. You'll see it'll start to separate, so it'll be watery and then there'll be clumps. I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and 3 tablespoons of honey. So I love these little mini liquid measurers. If you don't have one, I definitely recommend getting one. I use these things all the time. So I'm just gonna add the honey into this, and now I'm going to whisk this. So if your honey is very, very thick, you might need to heat it up a little bit. You could blend this, but I prefer not to, because blending makes the yogurt pretty liquidy, and I want it to stay thicker, so I just whisk it in. It's okay if it's not perfectly blended, because if you're using a Ninja Creami, because the Creami will get it very blended. If you are using a regular ice cream maker, just make sure that it's whisked very well. As you can see, this is, there's no chunks of honey in here, so it whisks pretty easily as long as your honey is somewhat runny. Then for the Ninja Creami, we just pour it into the pint container. So that fills it up to just under the max fill line, so that's perfect. And then what we do with Ninja is we freeze this for 24 hours. Just like a cooking show on TV, I happen to have an already frozen one ready to go. So we are just gonna switch places here. Here we have our frozen mixture there. And if you've used Ninja, you'll know that it gets a little bit of a hump on the top. It's usually fine if it's not too big. Actually filling it a little below the max fill line seems to help that. So I put it in the Ninja Creami container and then put the lid on. Snap into place. Then we just put it in the machine, get it into place. So for anything I make, I use the light ice cream, pretty much anything, because it doesn't have regular sugar in it. And I believe that the ice cream setting on the Ninja is geared towards regular sugar, and kind of all the alternatives use light ice cream if it's like a milk, yogurt, milk alternative. Otherwise you can use sorbet if you're doing all fruit. I've used the smoothie bowl. I've used the gelato a couple of times if I've had eggs in it. But most of the time I'm using this light ice cream button. Now I'm going to see how it looks. So just take the lid off. So as you can see, it's a little bit crumbly. This happens most of the time that I make it. But there is an easy fix for this. What I do is I just put in some almond milk. That's a tablespoon. You could also use coconut milk is good. You could try using a little yogurt as well. You just need something a little liquidy to get it to soften up. And now we use the Respin. Respin is done, so let's see how it looks. But as you can see, this looks very ice cream-like. So it came out pretty perfect. So we're gonna try some now. Let's give it a taste. So this is like one of my favorite things. So it's just a little bit tart, and it reminds me so much of the one that I had when I was young. It's, you know, vanilla, tart, yogurty, and frozen like ice cream. So it is exactly what I was wanting. Thanks again, and please subscribe so you can keep up with all of my videos, and I will see you next time.